Told you yesterday, Georgia has recertified its vote. That's despite questions surrounding a controversial video and the alleged voter fraud evidence the Trump team has presented. Congressman Jody Hice tweeting yesterday that a forensic audit of a Dominion voting machine revealed that votes were switched from President Trump to Joe Biden. Congressman Hice, who represents the state's 10th congressional district, joining me now. Congressman, always great to see you. Tell us more about the Dominion voting machine test there. What did it reveal?
Well, I mean, what we are finding out, and it's one of two things. It was either the Dominion voting machine itself or it was human error. There are reports on both sides. So we're still trying to determine. We do have an affidavit in hand, in fact, that the switching of votes occurred. What we are not exactly convinced of yet is whether it was the machine or human error. Either way, the fact that votes were switched is extremely problematic. If it happened in one place, how many other places did it happen? That's one county in one state in one country. So there are multiple issues. That being said, the problems behind the Dominion voting machines are nothing new. This is not something that just has come to light in this election. We have had hearings this past year in which even some of my Democratic colleagues, Jamie Raskin, for example, from Maryland, expressed tremendous concern over the accuracy of the Dominion voting machines throughout this year. And so this company, these machines have a history behind them that's very problematic. And what we are calling for is if there is no problem, as our Secretary of State is claiming, then prove it. Let's have an audit of the machines, check them out, and if there's no problem, great. That's great by everyone. But if there is a problem, for crying out loud, we need to know about it. This election is too important, too critical for us to try to sweep potentially such a major issue under the rug. Let's audit the machine and find out indeed what we're dealing with.
No, I concur. And let me ask you a little bit more, because there's a report out there, a couple of reports about a sequestered Dominion voting machine that was fed an equal amount of ballots for Trump and an equal amount of ballots for Biden. So the machine should have revealed a tie when it came out of the other end, the results. However, the machine is rumored to have revealed a 26% advantage for Joe Biden on this sequestered machine. Do you know anything about this test that was conducted? Has your office received a briefing on it?
No, we've not received a briefing on that, but we continue to hear those types of stories. And that is not only in Georgia. Just today, we were hearing tremendous similar stories coming out of Arizona. So the fact is, these voting machines have a history of whatever is the problem, creating an algorithm, if you will, that is able to manipulate votes in a slight way to where most people perhaps would not even notice it. But when you get in and start digging in and having a forensic study of these machines, they are extremely alarming. And I have seen enough of these type of reports myself to be extremely concerned. And for that reason, we are pleading for our Secretary of State to order a forensic look into these machines, and let's see if that type of scenario that you described is actually happening. If it happened in Georgia, if it happened once, it could happen in this next election coming up with the senators. We've got to deal with this now. The people of Georgia, the people of the United States need answers.
Yeah, makes sense to me. One more thing before we get to your Secretary of State. This video that came out of State Farm Arena, some folks in the press are claiming, oh, there's nothing to see here. It's perfectly normal to dismiss everybody out there so no poll watchers are around, and then just to count ballots with nobody around. My understanding, that's against the law. So what do you know about this video? Has it been debunked, as some less than credible media outlets are saying? Is everything A-OK as far as you're concerned in this video?
Absolutely 100% not A-OK. This is extremely concerning. Look, we had these ballots placed under the table approximately 8:30 a.m., a covered table. They sat there all day long until supposedly there is a water line break at such time, and there's no volume, but a lady comes in the middle of the room. You can see her arms waving. The counters leave the room, media leave, and then here comes people dragging ballots out from underneath the table, and for the next 2 hours, those ballots are counted. That is not normal operating procedure under any circumstance. And for our Secretary of State or anyone else to try to come out and make us think that somehow this is normal is absolute insanity. They say it's been debunked. They've shown no evidence of that. It's just words against us being able to watch on video what actually happened. And this is the type of thing that causes chills to go up the spine of every American who understands the importance, the sacredness of our elections, and that only legal ballots should be cast, only legal ballots should be counted. And this video gives the appearance of everything but legal votes, legal ballots being counted.
Yeah, with all of the unprecedented amount of universal mail-in balloting that came in various jurisdictions all over the country, not just in Georgia, your Secretary of State has refused to do signature verification. He just refuses. So a lot of people are emailing me saying, what can Republicans do about a rogue Secretary of State? Is there anything that folks like you, folks on the state level, can do about Mr. Raffensperger?
Hey, listen, we're just making noise about this personally. I cannot believe that our Secretary of State is being so irresponsible with the sacredness of the voters in the state of Georgia that he is not willing to have signature verifications. And that verification ought to go to the voter registration file with the request for an absentee ballot, as well as the signature on the envelope in which that absentee ballot comes. There ought to be a three-way investigation and verification of every signature. Look, we had 1.3 million absentee votes in Georgia this year. We have never even come close to this type of numbers. And in addition to that, we sent out those invitation requests for absentee ballots to everyone on the voter registration list, probably 5 to 10% of which that list is inaccurate. So there's between 250 and 500,000 people that receive this, and we are having no signature verification. It's a crime to our justice as far as our elections are concerned.
Yeah, and you know what the crazy thing was is they disqualified fewer signature ballots in this election with all of those absentee ballots that you just referenced, the millions more than you had the last time, and they actually, in 2018, they disqualified more ballots back then. It makes absolutely no sense. Congressman, always a pleasure to talk with you, sir. Come back. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.